Let's get at it, man. They done did it again. Somebody done said something they wasn't supposed to say. And from Mandalorian after social media post. What she say, y'all? What did she say? Let's see what she said here. The Mandalorian cast, after many online calls for her firing over social media posts that likened the experience of Jews during the Holocaust to the U.S. political climate. Uh-oh, red flag. She used the J word. We better walk lightly. Here we go. Nevertheless, what does she say here? She says, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them, simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? As always, because, it's very slow. I will let the sloth go first. Tell me why she should be fired, because that was your side. That's your side.
But let me just ask, just so I understand, who is Gina talking about in this? Who is being attacked?
You know who's being attacked.
Who is she comparing our Jewish brothers and sisters to?
People who just want America to be great.
So she feels, just so I'm understanding, so she feels like Trump supporters are being victimized and being attacked for their political beliefs.
She said we're at the beginning right now, where it's the starting of the propaganda for people coming at them. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's because history is edited. Most people, they don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government's first made their own neighbors hate them, simply for being Jews. Or in this case, you would take Jew out, and you're being simply for being right-wing or a Trumper or I don't wear a mask or something like that. Any different from hating someone for their political views? That's what
that's completely.
She says 6 half done.
It's convenient for her to ignore history, and how people of color, black, brown, pretty much anyone not white, has been targeted for the shade of their skin. It's interesting that she is not thinking about people of the LGBTQ plus community that are targeted for their sexual orientation. It's interesting she's not thinking about our Muslim brothers and sisters, our Jewish brothers and sisters, those who aren't Christian. It's interesting that she's not thinking about those who are in this country that are not U.S. citizens who are targeted. It's interesting. Well, it's not interesting. I'm saying interesting, but obviously it's not at all. This is typical. This is ridiculous. That's what it is.
I agree with you. I agree with you. This is ridiculous. Maybe for just
I don't. I think what we have here is, we do have freedom of speech, but there are also consequences to your freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
It is easy for her to forget about history. It's easy for her to not acknowledge those who are, and again, look at FBI statistics as far as hate crimes, and you see who's targeted year after year after year. So if she feels like Trump supporters are under attack, I don't know what to say. In my opinion, Nazis should have been under attack, right? So now we have white supremacists that are being emboldened, under Trump. They're showing their faces. They're out from underneath their.
Yeah, man, he left, man.
Right. So my point is, I don't think there's a downside to making racists afraid again.
Copy. So okay. So what you heard? Wow, I wanted to say something. We're gonna get back to that. I need to hear it. Did y'all hear that, America? How did he segue from this, to racists should be scared again? What is that? I don't even know how it correlates. So what she's saying, you feel like she's trying to protect racists? And how do you equate that to what she said?
No. What I'm saying is that she is putting herself in the victim role. She's putting her and those who she sees as like-minded as the victims, right?
And white people can't be victims.
Well, hey, listen. I'm not saying white people can't be victims, right? But when we look at systematically, when we look at historically, um, white people have an advantage. And look, that's not. I mean, there's plenty of poor white people. There are white people that are struggling, that go without access to affordable healthcare, access to affordable education, that are truly struggling. So poor white folks need to unite with poor folks of every shade, of every background. No doubt about it.
Watch out, Aziz. That's what got MLK shot. Okay, don't fight.
Right. we don't shoot sloths, right? So my point is, she also has some other comments that she's made. I was just reading an article.
But we're not talking about those right now. We're just talking about the mask and the beep boop bop bop. Okay, fine, cool. However, should she be fired for that? Because she said that she feels being like a Trumper is like being a Jew in the Holocaust. I don't know. Maybe I could ask a Jewish person, but I don't think that was kind of like, someone saying it might have been, might be overblown. But I think when someone says, when such and such is like me being a slave back in 1680, I'm like, maybe not, but I won't take it as racist and be like, oh.
Remind me again. Whose movie is this? Remind me again.
Disney.
Disney?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's hired, right, to do this job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole thing. If I go to my job and make anti-sloth comments, they're not going to be slow to put me in my position, right?
They move slow. They're not going to be slow fast.
Right. So that's the whole thing. Is she makes these comments, and it reflects on her and her career, and people don't want to be associated with that. And that's the whole thing. People don't want to be associated with her accusation, her claiming that Trump won the last election. People don't want to be associated with her criticizing mask mandates. People don't want to associate with her Twitter profile, which mocks people that are transgender. People don't want to associate with anti-Semitic memes. So people don't want to associate with this way of thinking. Now she has the freedom of speech. At the same time, those who are making a TV show or a movie, if they don't want to hire this person, if they don't feel comfortable, they obviously can be fired from that position. She still has her freedom of speech. She still has her freedom of speech, right?
I guess in a situation. I mean, like
she no longer has that platform.
I'm on something like this. It's like the reason the child murderer has to get a fair trial so that the jaywalker does. You know what I mean? So in this instant, okay, you might be saying, oh, she's a racist. She's talking some old crazy with the mask and he didn't win. Blah, blah, blah. All right, fine. However, we have to be able to stand behind people to be able to express themselves. I don't want to believe that Disney, WB, Comcast, whomever it is, can buy my silence. Now because, I'm on your show, I cannot voice any opinion that is contrary to popular opinion, which actually puts us in something because, I mean, if that's why it's not majority rule in America, because the majority is not going to, the minority is not going to be able to stop the majority for coming up with a harebrained idea like it's their problem, So, like the filibuster would have stopped that whole German Jew killing everybody thing. That'd have been like, nope, can't pass it. And that'd have been it. But here, it seems like we're trying to get rid of that. We're chipping at it. We're using things we don't like. We're using precedents on things we don't like. Oh, we didn't like Trump, so we didn't mind that he got impeached after he was president. What? That's crazy. Oh, we don't like Gina and what she said about the mask, so we're not going to mind the fact that she can get kicked off her job. You can lose your way to feed yourself and your family because someone doesn't agree with what you say. Not that you don't do a good job. Not that you're being dangerous. Not even that you're hurting anyone. It's just that, I love how the left loves diversity of only things you can't control. You can't control your skin color, you can't control your height, you can't control your size, you can't control your gender or whatever. But what you can control, they want no diversity. It is just one and one only. They don't even want shades of gray. It's white. No shades of gray. They don't want any. It's all, So it seems very 1984-ish that there's only certain things that are allowed to be said. Now, instead of having a conversation about it, we're just going to shut up, go over there, boom. And it actually kind of backfired because when I hear she's working with Ben Shapiro.
I think that's the exclamation to the story, right? Because people know about Ben Shapiro. And they know what he's about. And they know his formula for conversation and debate. And we know that it's flawed, right? So it makes sense that we know it makes sense for her to team up with him. And it's beautiful because it's like she has picked a side. She doubled down. So it's like there is no gray area. So she has picked an extreme, and let her be. And it's
fine.
I mean, there's plenty of things that we could be talking about. And Gina, look, she might be a great actress. I've actually never seen her act. I'll admit, I've never seen The Mandalorian.
Watch The Mandalorian?
Right. So I'm sure she's talented. And I'm sure, and much respect to somebody who has those sort of skills and
Just watch your words. She is an MMA fighter, so
sure.
You can throw them things too, so be nice.
Again, this is not about dismissing her talents. This is about
having her thoughts and her opinions.
No,
this is about having a culture that is inclusive and about creating space, not for hatred, not for dismissal of people because of their sexual orientation.
See, I'll give you that. The boop bop beat was messed up. That was kind of a troll move. But I don't think people having an opinion on something should just make them hate. I don't want no mask. Oh, there's plenty of black people who jump on a train in New York City with no mask. That does not make them a white supremacist. Damn, it don't make them a Trump supporter. Okay? But they don't wear a mask. Why? I don't like it. I move away from them.
Sure. And look, I'm not calling her a white supremacist. I'm just saying that when she makes some of these claims or says some of these things that she says, it just sounds like either A, she's never had real conversations about these topics, therefore she might be lacking a little bit of education in those areas, right? So, and here's the thing, if you've never had a conversation about a topic, right, but you're trying to share an opinion about it, you might get it wrong. Right?
Did you hear that, America? All you Facebook people, say that again for him, Aziz. That was a guy. I duly know. Say that again.
I'm just saying, if
you're entering into a conversation that you've never had before, and you've never taken the time to, educate yourself. And I'm not talking about educate yourself reading one-sided news. I'm talking about you're going to have to dip into about a dozen different sources. Both sides, you're really going to have to be challenged on that. You can't really dig your heels in until you really weigh it out. And that's the tough thing about news and social media is that news comes at us so fast that it's really hard. I mean, sometimes we only have time to read the headlines, right? You read the headline, you see the picture, you're like, oh, snap, react, right? But if you get into the article about 6 paragraphs down, you're like, oh, okay, so that headline was just clickbait. That was a little misleading. And then
even top places will clickbait you. It's bad.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everyone's out to make a buck, and that's all the things. So you got that one clickbait, and then so you might have a liberal site or a conservative site, and it's all clickbait. Everyone has to make a buck. And I think that's why it's probably most important to look at news that isn't funded by corporations.
That's a fact. Left or right. Left or right. But they're trying to quiet that now with the whole Google and the Facebook and the Twitter and everyone getting away from everything. So, Parler? I guess. I don't know. I will say I think people have the right to their opinion. as long as it doesn't create hate, I think they have a right for their opinion. And Disney's taking a hit for this. People have taken their subscriptions, which is affecting Marvel and other people because it's not just Star Wars that Disney owns. So everybody's taking the free market is going to see, and they say they're not looking for her, and she's not looking for them, and I don't know how that's going to affect the Mandalorian season 3. Yeah, I waited so long to get into it, and then as soon as I got into it, like maybe a month ago, binge watching, and then got up, and then it ended, and then this happens. It's like, see, this is why I don't watch TV. First the Messiah, now the Mandalorian. What's next? But any parting words for you besides fight?
Nah, I'm not. I'm not even going to that extreme. My whole thing is, again, she has a boss, and look, again, I want my freedom of speech at my job. I would be bothered if I was fired because of my freedom of speech, right? At the same time, I'm lucky that I don't have hate speech. I'm not hating on people. I'm not dismissing people.
Oh man, she got fur. She didn't get fired. She got fur. It's a shame, man. Bye, Gina. Oh, I really liked you as a character, but I don't know how that's gonna work. Oh well. On to the next song. On to the next one.
I'm not hating on people. I'm not spreading misinformation. That's not me. So on that note, I just gotta say, damn, Gina.